I'm still, after all the fights you've had, in awe of the fact that you do what you do. It's mind-blowing to me.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I mean, it's not that hard to get your beat. But it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there. I can't really talk.
When this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off to. I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights.
Jake Paul has reportedly announced his retirement from boxing following a devastating 6th-round knockout loss to former heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua in Miami. The fight left Paul with a double broken jaw that required surgery. Entering the bout at 28 years old, Paul aimed to solidify his legitimacy as a professional boxer. Instead, Joshua's crushing right hand ended the contest and sparked serious questions about whether Paul's boxing career can continue.
I won 2 rounds
For sure.
and then he won 2, and then I got dropped. But yeah, I was doing good. I just think my cardio, just the mental pressure of the big guy and sparring the big people is different than the 10-ounce gloves. So I was feeling his power a lot more. But it was a great experience. Like, I learned a lot in there. I can't really talk.
Are you in pain?
Yeah, but
Does
it's
it
not
hurt?
it's not from like talking.
Talk to me about what your jaw feels like, because you got
It's like a baseball in there.
two
and then
plates,
It just feels like
4 titanium plates.
4 titanium plates. How many do you have?
Just 1.
8 screws. 8 screws.
Wait, all right, I got plate in my head.
According to reports, Jake Paul has privately expressed that he's grown weary of absorbing heavy punishment in the ring and is now considering walking away from boxing. The brutal knockout, which saw Paul dropped multiple times and suffer a double broken jaw requiring surgery, intensified speculation about his future. Taking that level of damage from one of boxing's most accomplished heavyweights has clearly forced Paul to reassess what comes next.
From boxing, I'm getting hit in the face every single day, while I could be playing soccer in Saudi. I'm friends with the Saudis slash football.
Back in the day?
I was on the A team in 7th grade. I have a really good kick. I can run fast, and I'll knock out everyone that with us. Please give me a bill.
Eddie Hearn didn't back away from his earlier warning, but he adopted a more somber tone after the fight. Reflecting on his statement that this matchup could effectively end Jake Paul's boxing ambitions, Hearn said the outcome unfortunately proved his point. He explained that injuries like a broken jaw aren't just physically painful, but mentally taxing, especially for a fighter still developing at the elite level. Time away from sparring, fear of range-injury, and loss of rhythm can permanently derail a boxer's trajectory. While acknowledging Paul's toughness, Hearn emphasized that boxing is unforgiving and moments like this often force fighters to reconsider whether the risk is worth it.
Because when this fight was first announced, you had said something to the effect of this would end Jake Paul's career. After what you saw tonight, do you think that Jake should continue to box, or what do you think the future holds for him?
Yeah, no, I really take my hat off to. I mean, we have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights. And I know he went down heavy, but you know he was conscious on the floor. And I thought his game plan, although obviously very negative early on, which it had to be, was smart at times. And there were times where he held his feet and let his hands go. You know, it was a very one-sided fight. It was always going to be a one-sided fight. But you can't give him anything but credit and respect. There's a lot of negative people out there. There's a lot of people who want to criticise people. They're not doing what Jake Paul's done. He just went in with Anthony Joshua and gave it his best shot. Took a lot of punishment and ended the fight eventually.
UFC commentator and podcaster Joe Rogan also reacted seriously to Jake Paul's knockout loss, urging him to think carefully about the long-term consequences of continuing to fight. Rogan stressed that the punishment Paul took from a seasoned heavyweight like Anthony Joshua carries risks beyond the immediate injury. He warned that there's a price fighters pay that often isn't worth it, including lasting neurological effects. Rogan described the knockout punch as having the force of multiple shots at once, highlighting how quickly damage accumulates. His message wasn't just about this fight, but a broader warning about the dangers of sustained punishment at a high level.
I did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade.
he has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the Tommy
He
Fury
lost
fight.
a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. If he wasn't a YouTuber, people would be way more impressed with him.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
But
oh, and then he started too with like more spectacle-ish fights. People were like, "Oh, this is your." He fought, you know, Nate Robinson, like a basketball player.
But the thing is, he knocked Nate Robinson
knocked him
dead.
the fuck out,
And
yeah.
it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no.
Adding more controversy, Paul has reportedly suggested he may intentionally go on a cycle of steroids to silence long-standing accusations that he's already used performance-enhancing drugs. According to online chatter, Paul claimed that visibly showing the difference would prove his past physique and power were natural. Critics called the idea reckless and inflammatory, while supporters viewed it as a response to years of speculation. Given boxing's strict anti-doping rules and severe penalties, most observers remain skeptical. Until Paul addresses the claim directly on record, it remains unverified and adds another layer of turmoil to an already chaotic moment in his career.
Said that I snort, that I'm a cokehead. My rebuttal to that was, I'll tell you what, you can test me randomly for the next 5 years for if I can test you randomly for performance enhancing the next 2 years, and I never got a response on that.
This is why Jake Paul is on PEDs. Within this past year, Jake Paul has literally hit a second puberty and aged like 10 years. Furthermore, he has acne and his hairline is receding like crazy. And people like Jake Paul are going to the best skin doctors in the world and probably are taking hair loss products that aren't even approved for the rest of us. Now, I'm not saying that Jake Paul necessarily took a steroid to make him look bigger, but he's definitely taking something that allows him to recover faster. That way he's able to train.
UFC legend Anderson Silva publicly came to Jake Paul's defense, saying fans should respect him for stepping into the ring with such a dangerous opponent. Silva noted that Paul has proven he's willing to take real risks, not just face carefully selected opponents. According to Silva, critics can no longer argue that Paul avoided elite competition after agreeing to fight a former heavyweight world champion. Regardless of the outcome, Joshua brutally fractured Paul's jaw in the 6th round with a powerful right hand. The injury, confirmed after the fight, required surgery involving titanium plates and the removal of several teeth. Paul later posted that the surgery was successful and that he would be limited to a liquid diet during recovery.
Damn. I don't say that only because I'm fight here in a company, but it's because Jake, the people need to respect Jake, you know? I mean, every single fight, go inside the ring, everybody needs...
Never give a monkeys about what anyone says, because they sit at home, they're full of negativity. It's like the people that are negative towards someone like Jake Paul. Look at what he's done with his life. Do you know what I mean? So yes, it took AJ a couple of rounds to get hold of him, and then he knocked him spark out and broke his jaw. It was a frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe, because Jake was moving so much, holding, but did well, I thought. I mean, I was impressed with him. I mean, I was more impressed with his toughness, because I think that last shot would have knocked out most heavyweights. I mean, you've got to respect him, because he did what many people wouldn't do, which was get in the ring with him. And, you know, he didn't, I know he run and hold, but he also let his hands go at times. And he was in the firing line, and, you know, we got 6 good rounds in the end of actual work.
Is that how you see it in the end?
Yeah, I actually think it's a positive, because, you know, we could have gone in there and got it all over with 45 seconds. He's done an 8-week camp, and now he's done 6 rounds. He's got something to go back and work on with a team.
Jake Paul's 6th round knockout loss also silenced claims that the fight was scripted or fixed. Promoter Eddie Hearn directly dismissed those allegations, stressing that the bout was a fully sanctioned professional contest regulated by boxing authorities and tied to legal betting markets. Hearn pointed out that the severity of Paul's double jaw fracture, which required surgery, is not something anyone would fake. The injury itself served as undeniable proof that the fight was real.
Damn, son. Fuck me. How did Jake Paul actually remain conscious after that? And yeah, he got a broken jaw in 2 different places. And when they zoomed in on his mouth inside after the fight, a row of his teeth had just been dislodged into a whole nother fucking section of his mouth. Whatever you think of Jake Paul, surely that now puts an end to the fixed fight narrative. Like, his mouth is in bits. This was not a fixed fight. No matter how much you dislike it, it was what it was. So how did he do? Well, on the one hand, Jake fucking Paul, the YouTube guy who started by fighting Deji, getting in a ring with AJ is just impressive to start off with. He made it 6 rounds, and when he was getting hurt, he kept getting up, and he showed heart. You know, it probably would have been easy to stay down and not get your teeth shoved into your fucking back of your head. And a lot of people are saying, look, he lasted longer than Francis Ngannou, so that's something. But why did he last longer than Francis Ngannou? Obviously, I think we all know why. Francis Ngannou came into the ring with the belief he could win. He was trying to win from the first bell. Jake Paul was more trying to survive and hope that like a miracle happens in the fight sometime. And when you've got those completely different states of mind, it delivers completely different results, right? Francis is right there in front of you. He's trying to hurt you. He's committing. He's leaving openings because he's committing. The other guy is halfway across the fucking ring. And when one guy isn't wanting to engage, it's really hard to pin them down and hurt them because they're not basically contributing to the sport. You know, we're supposed to be fighting each other, not, you know, you running away from me and me having to run after you. And we've seen this before in other boxing matches. It just makes it a very difficult night for the guy who's trying to be the aggressor, especially when you've got a ring that big and the guy
who lasted longer than Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou came to fight. That's it. It was like Jake was stuck in 2020 the way he stayed 2 meters away from Joshua at all times. Jake was nowhere near Joshua's range, nowhere near. Francis was very near. He came to box him. Jake just came in there to survive. That's all it was. He just wanted to see the end bell. He maybe land a lucky overhand right, which he did land a couple. Eventually, when the distance was close, due to Jake not running, due to him being tired, boom, the knockout came. That's all it was. I don't want to hear people say, oh, he did better than Francis, because he didn't, because Francis was in boxing range, and Jake might as well have been.
Some fans have drawn comparisons between Jake Paul and Francis Ngannou based on how long each lasted against Anthony Joshua. A viral post suggested that Paul lasting 6 rounds, compared to Ngannou's 2, showed Paul might actually be more durable in that matchup. Supporters argued that surviving longer, even with a broken jaw, demonstrated Paul's toughness. Others went further, claiming it suggested Paul could be competitive with other top heavyweights. While those takes sparked debate, they reflect how Paul's performance, despite the loss, shifted perceptions among certain fans.
And here with Sergey Lapin. Sergey, Anthony Joshua stopping Jake Paul tonight. He had a message for Tyson Fury, greedy belly. What did you make of that?
Nice fight. You know, before 1 year, not work, not training, and now today this first step. Yes, maybe second step, one more opponent, one more fight, and maybe we see fight Fury and AJ in September, November. I don't know.
What fight? Yeah, what did you think of Jake Paul's performance in there? He kept getting up, showed bravery. What did you make of Jake Paul?
You know, for me, I like this guy good. This guy five years training boxing. Have big heart, you know. He stand up 3 times, and stand up and fight, you know. This not, you know, AJ punch very strong.
What about, you know, obviously Usyk is no longer WBO champion. Could we see AJ and Fabio Wardley now?
This is good fight. I think this is good fight. Fabio, good boxer, good puncher. I think this is nice fight.
Mostly, you know, Tyson Fury, if he fights Joshua next year, what happens?
I think AJ win.
Any update with Usyk Wilder?
We work, teamwork, working. Maybe June, July.
Where could that be? Here?
I think, I don't know. Maybe.
Rounds, got Jake Paul out of there, dropped him. I think he got stopped on his feet, counted out, knocked out, whatever, however you want to call it. It wasn't a bad knockout. It wasn't an El Sparko. He wasn't rendered unconscious, but he got done. He got it on the chin. He went over. He didn't beat the count. He was sort of up on his feet. But if I'm honest, the whole fight was terrible, wasn't it? It was just so bad. It was just shit, wasn't it? A proper bad fight for AJ. And let me start with AJ. AJ was following him around the ring a little bit, sort of pouring with the jab, putting the jab on the shoulder of Jake Paul, sort of putting him in the corner and not really pulling the trigger on the right hand. He didn't seem to didn't seem to be motivated to go in there and just smash Jake Paul into oblivion in the first 1 or 2 rounds, which I think he could have done. But he's been out the ring 15 months, a bit slow on his feet, a bit ring rust maybe, and it was it's hard. When I used to spar novice amateurs, even when I was a world champion pro, if you're not motivated, sometimes you can have a couple of bad rounds and you're sort of looking at your opponent and a jab hits you or right hand hits you. And I think AJ was in a bit of a daze early on, just walking him around, touching the jab on his shoulder, not really pulling the trigger on the right hand. Didn't look like he got out of first gear. Jake Paul was just on pure survival mode from round 1 right through to round 6. I don't know if he's got a moral victory going 6 rounds. Maybe he has. People might give him credit for going 6 rounds. But he got in there and just survived. He just went in there and ran like a chicken from round 1 right through to round 6 when he got splattered. And it's like, it's just, you can't really justify what he's done, because this is supposed to be a professional sanctioned boxing match. And I think it brings the integrity of the sport down when somebody like AJ, who's a 2-time world champion, can't get in there and just completely dismiss somebody like Jake Paul, who I've said for ages can't fight. He's not a professional boxer. It's just AJ following him around, touching him to the shoulder. Round 1 came and went. Round 2 was much of the same, bit slow. I think AJ got caught with an overhand right.
Meanwhile, Alexander Usyk's manager Sergey Lapin described Joshua's performance as a solid step in his comeback, calling it a good fight that could lead to bigger matchups later in the year. He praised Paul's courage for repeatedly getting back up, but noted that Joshua's power was the clear difference. Lapin hinted at future fights involving top heavyweights, while former champion Carl Froch was far less charitable. Froch criticized the matchup as damaging to boxing's credibility, arguing that fights between elite champions and social media stars cheapen the sport. His stance made it clear he believes crossover bouts like this undermine boxing's tradition. So what do you think? Should Jake Paul retire after that brutal knockout loss to Anthony Joshua, or is there still more left in his career? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.